Hi guys, it's Nikki and you are here in the sewing room with Nick. Today we are going to make a project together from the last book flip, which is Modern Vintage Gifts, and we're making a pincushion. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the book that we looked at in our last book flip, and the project that I've decided to do out of it is a nice easy one. It's an English paper piecing pincushion. And this is how we go about making it. First of all, you need to photocopy this page to get this template, or trace the template straight off the page. Once we have got 12 pieces, we can cut those out and we can pick our fabrics that we're going to make our pincushion out of. In the book she's used a few different prints. I've decided to use the one piece of fabric and fussy cut it so that every second one will be different. I'll have the blue line down the center of some and the pink line down the center of others. So I will need 6 of each. Okay, once you have got your templates cut out, you're going to need to cut out your fabric, and your fabrics are going to need to be 1/4 inch bigger on each side, and that is going to be your seam allowance. So keep that in mind when you're cutting out your pieces. The next thing you need to do is baste your pieces, and you can either choose to do this with needle and thread through the card or with some glue. I'm going to use glue because it's nice and quick and easy. So you will need to do this to all of your pieces ready to sew. Okay, for the next part you are going to be sewing 3 pieces together at a time. So you'll be sewing these 3 and these 3. Place the pieces right sides together and do a slip stitch across there. Okay, so let's see a nice close-up view of that slip stitch. So I've got my pieces here. I'm going to slide it into one side of one template, making sure not to get any of the paper. And then I'm also going to pick up some fabric on the other side, on the other template. Again, don't go through the paper. Slide the needle through and pull, and that gives you some nice tight stitches along here. Okay, so I've got the first 3 sewn together, and you can see that even though we did one fabric type, because I cut them a certain way, which is called fussy cutting, I'm ending up with this secondary pattern through the pieces, which is fantastic. So I need to do the same now for the other side, and then once that's done we can sew the straight line down in between. Okay, so I've got both sides now. So now it's a matter of sewing these right sides together. And by doing it this way, you are not going to get a little hole or gap in the center where they all join, which is what can happen if you try to just sew it straight around. Once you've got all of your pieces sewn together like this, you will be able to take the papers out. And once the paper is out on both of them, you can sew them together. Okay, so I have taken all the papers out of the back of my fabric pieces here, and now what we need to do is put these right sides together, and I can use some wonder clips or pins to clip these together like this. And that stops it moving around. And what we are going to be doing is sewing a slip stitch all the way around the outside edge, except for one small section which we will leave open, and this is where we are going to turn and stuff our piece. So clipping this all the way around. Like so. And then it will be time to make a cup of tea. away and do some hand sewing to close it up. Alright, I've finished slip stitching around the edges and I have kept a little bit open here like so. So what I'm going to do now is just take off these little dog ears from the ends, because I think once you turn it through you'll get a nicer shape. So I'm going to do that now. A pair of trusty scissors. I need to be really careful not to cut my slip stitching, but I'm just going to take off some of that bulk without cutting very close to my hand sewing. That one's kind of small. That one's kind of small too. And I've done that one. Okay. That was very loud. All right, let's turn it through. Where's my... Look at that, my stitches are so tiny I can't even see. All right. So let's bring it through and have a look. Come on. Poke this thing through. This fabric reminds me of like old lady pillowcases or something. It's very very sort of shabby chic, I guess would be the right words. All right, not looking like a star yet. Let me get my handy dandy chopstick. Try not to knock you off the table. 1, 2, 3, 'Just being very careful not to poke a hole through my stitches. 4, there's 6 points to this star, so let's try to find the other ones. 5, and this one is right near my gap, so I'll have to be very careful. All right, 6. Oh my goodness, look at that. All right, so it is ready for some stuffing. So I will get to stuffing that, and then this little bit here just needs to be slip stitched shut. So there we go. Let's do that. Okay, so all closed up, and there you go. This is the side I closed up. And now I am having a look at some buttons to see if I can find one I like for the center. So I have, oh look at that big heart, that's a bit too big. I have a lot of buttons. Little gold one. I think I kind of like maybe the pink or maybe the white. Yeah, I think the white. I have a big, this is just one of my jars. I have many jars. Oh, there's a little polka dot one. That's cute, but there's no, nope, I like the white. Okay, I also got these little wooden ones. I wonder if a wooden one would look, okay. That looks cute too, but I still think I like the vintage button. Yep, okay, all right. So now it's just a matter of stitching the vintage button in the center and we'll be done. There we go, all done. How sweet is that? Entirely hand sewn little pincushion. And that is from the book that we did the book flip through, and it was just such a fun little project. That's all from me today. Thanks for joining me, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I would love to have you along. Thanks, bye.